Welcome back to the Fear
and Beer podcast,
where we discuss all things Halloween Horror Nights, horror movies,
and just a little bit of beer.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Seamus.
Like scary movies.
Uh-huh.
Here's Johnny.
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Did you miss me?
Aren't you drinking? I never drink. Why?
Before we get into tonight's episode, we want to remind all of those listening on Apple Podcasts to drop us a 5-star review. It helps us grow as a podcast and build our audience. If you're listening on Spotify or any other platform, follow us, and don't forget to share with friends and family who might have a little bit of the strange in them as well.
And while you're on those socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, be sure to find us, Fear and Beer Pod. Give us a like, share, and you can always message us. We love to interact with all you guys. So we said that in a week or so we'd be back pending news.
And we're back. Like, we're not just like, you can see
Back
our
to back.
lovely
Back to
bearded
back.
faces.
We are back on video. You don't have to look at our logo for an hour and a half now. So yeah, we have a lot to discuss. A lot has happened in a course of a week, and this is kind of what we expect in this time of the
Pretty
year.
sure we said it.
Yeah, late July, early August, stuff is going to come at us pretty quick and fast-paced. So tonight we're obviously talking about the tickets that dropped, a whole bunch of options. We are talking about the newest house that was announced, The Weeknd, after hours.
Over the weekend.
Yeah, over the weekend.
Kind of.
After Hours Nightmare. We're going to be going into that Entertainment Weekly article, which does contain some spoilers, but we'll go through that. And then we are going to talk about the now infamous leak, the shirt leak, potentially. And then we're going to polish this episode off with Speculation Map 4.0 from our boys over at Horror Night Nightmares.
We're just going to finish the episode with some more speculation map talk.
Yeah. So we got a lot.
No big deal.
We have a lot to get into, obviously. So first, let's get into the beer. So we obviously visit this brewery a lot.
Yeah, by now our listeners should know that we're coming back to these guys.
Yep.
Pretty
And this
pretty
one,
much.
it
every
wasn't
other
my
week.
intention. I went into a store which I thought had a bigger selection, and I was happy that this was here. But my intention was to get something different and something more related to the weekend or Nightmares or After Hours. There's plenty of beers out there that could use that, and I'm sure at a bigger store I could have found something. But this was not a bigger store, and I didn't find anything, and I didn't want to just come out empty-handed. I hate going into a store like that and just not purchasing anything. So today we are going back to Hidden Springs Ale Work. This is another one that we have not had on the show. This is Apple of My Eye, an apple pie inspired sour ale with lactose. So we'll see. Can art's pretty cool. The
A
apple
little bit
of
of a Mario going on here.
well, there's some old school 90s stuff. There's a switch on there. I figured apple of my eye. Obviously, that's something you love, and it seems like the Weeknd is the apple of the eye of every single person that loves Halloween Horror Nights. Not so much. People were not happy. Somewhere. But I just figured it'd be a fun title. That's the only way I could tie it in, actually.
I mean, we'll get into a little bit. I mean, I don't think you and I are on the side of some people, but
No.
we'll get into that a little bit as
But
we go.
that was the loosest tie-in I possibly could have for this. So let's we'll crack these open and see what we got with this apple pie sour, which is
Whoop.
intriguing.
I'm making a mess.
Their
already.
stuff is always good, so they could tell me it's anything, and I'll give it a shot. Whew. I mean, it looks
Give
pretty
this
light.
bad boy a pour.
Looks light. Let's see, but if you don't know, Hidden Springs Ale Works is down in Tampa. They are part of the Independent Craft. This is only 5.5% alcohol.
We're basically free advertising for them at this point, so
Yeah, this has been a mainstay on the
guys.
show. So let's see what we got. I haven't done this in so long. I almost went to sniff the microphone instead of the beer.
I didn't even sniff. I just drank it like an idiot.
Very apple cidery. I don't know if the taste is coated with the sugar or not.
Well, I'll
but-
wait till you drink it before I say anything, but I mean, it's definitely a sour. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, that's sour. Ooh,
So it's like almost like
kind of cuts at the end, but it's like apple cider. I don't get much
Yeah.
pie in it.
Yeah, it's almost like a cider. It's like it. Well, I don't want to
Apple
say that
pie
because they
inspired.
definitely.
So I mean, it is inspired by apple pie. So I guess shame on me
Yeah.
for mistaking.
Have you ever had
that.
like Red's Apple Ale before?
Yeah, it's
It's kind of
similar
the
to like
same
that.
idea where it's not a cider, it's just ale infused with apple. So my question is do they use whole apples, or do they use apple mash, or do they
Yeah.
use some other type of apple? It's basically cider. But nothing wrong with that, because I've had a lot of good ciders. This is, again, not a cider, but you get the same effect.
Yeah,
guess.
I like it. It's definitely
bad.
fall style, so it's getting me closer to the months that we love. So let's get into it. Before we get into said topics, I had mentioned like a week or so ago we're going to be doing a contest. So I figured I would announce that now on the episode right in the beginning while we still have listeners before they drop off.
They basically stop listening.
We are creeping close to 1,000 followers on Twitter. So I want to make that final push. I want to get us to that 1,000 mark. It might not be a lot for most, but for us, that'd be pretty cool. So we do have some leftover stuff from Spooky Empire that I finally kind of unpacked and went through a little bit. So we do have some of these koozies. We do have t-shirts of the same logo. We have stickers. We have buttons. We have all kinds of stuff. So we are going to be running a contest. So to enter, you have to be following us on Instagram or Twitter. If you want to enter twice, that's awesome. Do one for each platform. You have to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and then you have to retweet it to us or reshare it on Instagram and tag us so we can see it. So, like I said, all you have to do is you just have to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, leave us a review, screenshot it, and then post it and tag us. We're going to try and get that out to everybody, and hopefully we can get a couple people that might not have been listening to us beforehand. So we're going to clip this video, and we're going to put it out there so I can repost it without typing everything that I just said. But on with the show. So the first thing that happened was tickets. And I think last week, I don't know if we hit on it at all, but the ticket site went down last Tuesday. And generally, the sites go down when they're preloading stuff, and preloading is generally 1 week out. And then the tickets dropped on Tuesday. And they kind of like seeped out. I feel like people are just waiting on the ticket site, and then they notice that they're there before Universal actually announces that they're out. So it was out there on the app, and I had woken up to, I think Pete had messaged me and said like, oh, the tickets are out, and like Universal had not posted them yet. So it's one of those things that they kind of have to preload, load, and then they have to wait till it's functional and then share. So it was interesting because a lot of people figured it out before it went out, but I think it was the tickets, I believe, went on sale on Tuesday. So of course I had to just buy it they don't sell out, but I just felt the need to purchase them ahead of time.
We should specify, we keep saying tickets, because single day tickets have been out for a while.
Yeah, so single day tickets.
We're
These were
talking about
multi-night
freaking
tickets.
Fear passes or
Yep.
multi-night tickets. So obviously our listeners, for the most part, are probably all freaking Fear holders. But for those that don't know, they have a annual pass holder type pass for Halloween Horror Nights, and you can go either every single night if you get the full boat one. You can go every Sunday through Friday plus 2 Saturdays, the beginning and the end, with the Freaking Fear Plus, and then of course the regular Freaking Fear, which is I think all days minus Friday and Saturday, and then there's the Rush of Fear, which I think is like just weekdays or the first month. I think
It's
September.
it's all September.
It's
so
all September.
So I got all the ticket. I have the ticket prices from last year and this year and the days that they were. So I'll run through them. So Rush of Fear, like we said, that's all of the September dates. Last year, it was $129 plus tax, and if you wanted to add express, it was $399.99 plus tax. That got you 16 days. Now this year, the same price, $129.99 plus tax, but the express part jumped up. So if you wanted to add express to the Rush of Fear, it would be $429.99. But it was good for 17 days now, so it's an extra day in there. Because if you remember last year, opening weekend, I believe, was just Friday, Saturday. This year, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct.
So the increase from the base is nothing, but it did jump up $30 to tack on that express for the Rush of Fear. The Frequent Fear, which is that Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, it was $159.99 plus tax last year and $459.99 with express. And that was good for 26 days. This year, it's that extra day, so it's 27 days now. It is $179.99 plus tax, and the express is $509.99 plus tax. So it went up $20 on the base, and then if you wanted to add express, that's an extra $50 from what it was last year. The Frequent Fear Plus, which is what we get, that includes your Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sundays, It also includes the first and last Saturdays of the event. So last year this was $189.99 plus tax, and $509.99 if you wanted to add express to that. It was good for 34 days. Jump to this year, $219.99 plus tax, and $599.99 with express.
Right.
Whew.
That's a big jump.
It is, and it's good for 36 days. So we got an extra 2 days out of it. The base price, which is what we get, we don't do express. It was an increase of $30 for us. If you wanted to add express, it's an extra $90 than what it was last year, which I guess if you factor in 2 extra days, it's not terrible. But we don't opt for express because the majority of the people we go with also don't have it. So there's just we'd be waiting in lines regardless, because I'm not going to meet up with a bunch of people like all my friends and be like, all right, well, I'll see you at the end of the house.
And we've talked about that before in the past, that we go enough that we don't need the express pass. I guess if you're one that just doesn't like to wait in lines, it's worth it. Just be forewarned that it is a lot of money compared to the regular ticket, the regular pass. And I think it's kind of where Universal kind of gets some of their money back, because obviously $220 for, what'd you say, 36 nights?
36 nights, yeah.
That's a
bargain.
lot of time for $220, considering that regulated tickets I think are $80, so without tax. So it makes a lot of sense. And for Universal, to bump up the express pass a little bit, I totally understand it. Yeah. Because those who want it will buy it.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I mean, it's also good to keep the numbers of express pass holders down too. So if you are someone that wants it, you'll know that there won't be as many people.
There should
that
be
have
no waiting,
because very few people are going to pay that kind of money for express, unless of course they're there for a couple days and they want to do everything.
Yeah. And then lastly, the ultimate frequent fear, which is good for all days. Last year was $284.99 plus tax, and if you add express, it was $729.99. It's good for 42 days. That's how long the event ran last year. This year, it is up to $324.99 plus tax and $819.99 for express. So it jumped $40 on the base, and it jumped $90 again for the express. It's good for 2 extra days this year. It's 44 days this event. So there are increases, but there are increases in event days. So, I'd be interested to see if the prices, I'm sure they would jump had the event stayed the same amount of days, but it's just, at least it's nice that it's not jumping and we're not getting more. We are getting 2 extra days.
We can't speculate necessarily that the only reason the prices went up because of those extra couple days. I mean, it may not be that they just went. I mean, normally they do. Tickets for anything will just go up.
Yeah, especially when it sells.
But if they added 2 days, it's really. I mean, to be honest, they're probably making out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you
think about it.
Yeah, I should have, and I didn't. If I averaged it out, how much did a day cost? You tack on 2 more of those. I mean, it'd be easy. Be 220 divided by 36, and then just add 2 more or whatever. But I didn't get that far into it. I got, this is number heavy. I have a lot of
math.
I have a lot of number notes.
For a Thursday, man.
I have a lot of number notes in here.
Yes, there is something called too much math.
Yeah. So that's all of our ticket talk. They're out there.
Go get them.
They won't sell out, so don't worry about that.
They won't sell out right away.
Yeah.
Just don't wait too long to get your frequent fear passes, because I did hear stories last year that by near the end of, by the time it got to the event kicking off,
it was it
was harder to get them.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever sell them out, but I think they'll start saying that, so that way people jump and get them. But I can't imagine they wouldn't sell them. But it is nice to have these, because I remember last year there was a lot of nights that were technically sold out, but if you had the frequent fear, you could still get in. They just weren't selling any more of that day's ticket. So if you are local and you're like, I might only go a couple nights or whatever, just opt in for this one. Even if you get just the base, the frequent fear, or rush of fear for September, you can do that.
Look at it this way: if you only want to go 2 or 3 nights, get the frequent fear pass, because in the end, it's going to be less money, I think, for you to do it that way. And you don't have to get the frequent fear plus. Just get the frequent fear pass, especially if you don't want to deal with a ton of crowds. You don't really need the Friday and Saturday one. Mm-hmm. Just get the Sunday through Thursday, and just do one of the weekday nights.
Yeah,
we prefer them, to be honest with you.
That's. I mean, typically when you're talking slower days, that's weekdays in September, late Sunday nights. in September. And then like on the flip side, when it starts to get busy, it's, October. Saturdays obviously are crazy. Fridays are busier, but September's the way to go for sure. Those Wednesday, Thursday, Sundays are good, but I feel like people are starting to realize that they're slow, so they're going to them on those days versus the Fridays. So it's kind of.
Of course, we're giving advice to people that probably know all this already.
Yeah, it's a constant flip flop.
Clearly,
I feel
you
like.
all know this already.
Yeah.
For anybody that's listening to us that's never been to the event, I don't know how you got onto this podcast.
Yeah,
but
we got to talk about it.
I'm glad you're here.
We got to talk about it. I know we're almost a week late at this point,
Just
but
be prepared that if you only have one night and you want to do a Saturday, you will not get through all the houses.
no.
I mean, I can tell you can try.
Even with Stay and Scream,
You can try with Stay and Scream, but chances are you're not getting through all 10 houses in one night if it's a Saturday.
The stuff I didn't take notes on, but were also included in this drop, was the Scream Early Pass. Actually, before I get into that, I believe the Ultimate Frequent Fear does come with free parking after 5 p.m.
After 5 o'clock, yeah.
So it wasn't. They didn't have that option last year,
Right.
where it was free. It's free parking after like 10.
Yeah.
This would help you out a lot because if you have a Universal Pass, you don't have to worry about it. But if you only have an HHN pass, parking is not included.
We
with
say
a
universal
frequent fear.
passes, obviously we mean annual passes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
we're obviously annual pass holders, so we don't really have to think about it.
No.
But for those that don't have annual passes and you're just
don't
coming
do
for
Horror
HHN, you don't realize it, you have to pay for parking. So
Yep.
before 10 o'clock, so just be careful of that. Unless you get the ultimate pass, which is, like he was just saying, it's free before 5, free after 5.
They did release also a Scream Early Pass.
They did.
I think it's like $30, but that's only for, again, non-Universal
Pass holders.
annual pass holders. If you are a pass holder, you don't need it. Obviously, you can go into the park around 1 or 2, get into your little Stay and Scream pen, start lining up around 5, and then off into the event. But again, if you only have an HHN ticket, opt in for this. Get in there a little bit early. And start waiting, because if you're only going one night and you don't have a Universal Pass, it's the easiest way to do it. Just grab this little Scream Early Pass, enter yourself a little bit early, so that way you don't have to wait in that bum rush up front. And they also did bring back Scare Actor Dining.
Nice.
Some people have gone into this a little bit. I'm not too high on it. I don't really care. Take it or leave it. I don't plan on doing it. It's just not.
Where are they doing the dining,
It's-
do you know?
At like Louis. Does that ring a Luigi? It's something with an L.
Luigi's?
Maybe.
Is that the pizza place that's in... It's like between New York and I think it's San Francisco. San Francisco, where
Yeah,
I don't know.
So
The point is it's one of the
I
restaurants.
didn't
in the
even
park.
look into it honestly, just because
Listen, we don't do our research. We're not that smart, but we know that
I do
there's
some
restaurants.
research, but not that one. I like I said, Scare Actor Dining doesn't do much for me. I probably am not going to participate in it. If you like it, to each his own.
I mean, maybe might entertain it for like one night because we go so much as it is. Like there are nights where we'll go and we'll maybe do one house in the 4 or 5 hours that we're there. Now, obviously, I'm more apt to do that than probably him. But sorry, I'm knocking our set over. But I mean, it's interesting. I guess you're right in the sense that to me it feels almost like character dining at Disney. And I mean, if you're an adult who likes character dining at Disney and you do that without kids, like more power to you. Like that's cool.
It's just not up my alley.
It's just not for me. I would rather, if I'm going to do character dining, and I'm going to do it with the children, like my kids. But with Scare Actor Dining, obviously, chances are you're not bringing your child to Halloween Horror Nights. And you might be.
Probably not.
Maybe. You never know. I mean, my oldest will come with me, but she's 14.
One of them.
One of them. So, like, but she's past the point of, let's eat with characters.
Yeah, let's go have. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I again, more power to you if that's something you're into. I'm glad that it's back because it gives you something else to do.
It's options.
It's just,
fun.
it's just another thing to do. I think it's cool. I just don't want them to skimp on the food options.
Yeah.
If they're doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're going to, but just, I'm hoping that they've expanded, like I said last week, expanded on the themed food.
Yeah. So I guess that brings us up to the big announcement. The Weeknd After Hours Nightmare. So this is I believe this is the first time that Entertainment Weekly has posted about a house. They had like the exclusive
They had the
exclusive
report.
preview, I guess is what it was called, because
And
they
they're
dropped
the ones that dropped the news.
before. It was I think it was like minutes before, but I think because it was like labeled exclusive premiere, like it kind of, I feel like HHN took a backseat to Entertainment Weekly because
Yeah.
they just knew how big of a deal. And that's a big deal. I mean, for the people that are poo-pooing this idea, myself slightly included, based off of just the idea of like any musically thing, I'd rather just an original, but like I understand the reasoning behind it all. I'm not, we'll get into like
But at
our
least,
thoughts,
but at least it's an original idea from the musical.
it's kind of an original. Yeah, I would.
I mean,
it's tough.
I mean, you can't compare it to Rob Zombie because Rob Zombie's his house was his movies, not his music. He had he had a
it was House of a
zone
Thousand Corpses.
devoted to his music, but he's never had a house devoted to
Yeah.
his music. And I think that's where people are going to get this confused, is that like, oh well, it's not an artist I like, so I'm mad about it. Okay, well, the thing is like you can't always
You can't
you can't
always get
exactly
what you want.
So the thing is for me, and I didn't want to get into this in this manner, but I'm gonna have to. The people that are screaming the loudest are the ones that are gonna go into it, and then they're gonna be the ones that are like they won't shut up about it.
yeah,
afterwards.
oh yeah.
They're like, oh, it was amazing. I was,
There's
and they'll never admit that they were wrong.
yeah, there's zero accountability for people's like responses now,
Yeah.
where it's like, this is the stupidest work. So, like, I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna message you after you go
Right.
to the event and ask you your thoughts
And
on
that's-
it, because
and
you're
to be
probably
honest,
gonna backtrack.
Are you mad because? Are you mad because he's got a house, or are you mad because you don't like his music and you don't like what he does artistically?
Yeah,
Is that what it is? Because let's be honest, let's stop judging things before they happen.
yeah,
You know, I mean, I'm not going into saying this is my most excited, like my most anticipated house, but I'm definitely excited to see what they do with it. Mm-hmm. This is exactly what I wanted when they announced Billie Eilish last year. I wanted them to do something, or not
something
last year,
different.
the year before.
Yeah.
I wanted them to do something
It's out
original
there.
based on some dark music, and I think that's what we're gonna get. And yeah, you can say Weeknd isn't dark music, okay, but if you don't actually listen to his music, you don't know.
Yeah, what it's based off of that CD, because I did go, I watched their, I think somebody compiled the 5 or 6 music videos in a row, so it was like in succession of the story. So you get kind of like an idea of where it's going.
Correct. I haven't watched that yet, but I heard about it.
So it's,
I should go at it.
so I was trying to figure out what I refer to as excited. You know, am I excited for this house? Not really. I'm curious about it. I'm intrigued by it, but to me, it's like an IP. Like if Evil Dead or Evil Dead Rises didn't drop off and we were getting it, that's another thing I would say I'm not excited for. It's not something that I listen to. But I'm curious about it. I'm not gonna like downplay it or poo-poo it, but like it's not something, you know, I'm excited for Dead Man's Wharf because it's something that like I know that I like.
Right.
It's a personal like of mine. That's fine.
Exactly.
I'm not saying everyone has to be excited as I am. And it's the same thing with The Weeknd. There's plenty of people out there, and I'm fucking stoked that like they're as happy as they are, that they're getting something. Like people that are true fans of him, that if you ask them, like, even last year, like, what's your dream thing to bring to HHN? The Weeknd probably would never even pop up in your mind because it's such a outside thing. Like, my brain wouldn't initially, it would go to horror movies and video games.
You don't think about that.
But now you're given that. It's such a surprise. Like, it's so much more for them exciting. And that's awesome. I'm super, like, I know Duff from like HHN 365 is like over the moon, like, and I'm fucking stoked that he's like,
and I'm with him on
super
that one.
happy that like, and for you, like, I'm glad like something like is like, I can't fucking wait till it comes. Like, that's the best part about this event is that like there's 10 fucking houses. You're not gonna like all of them. You're not gonna be excited for all of them. You know, but other people are going to have this varying opinion on it, and that's fine. It's better. I'd rather like have an event where like people love different houses and different scare zones. And that's what makes it so fun. There's so many different avenues of like horror and HHN and all this stuff. So by me saying I'm not excited for it isn't me being like this doesn't belong here. It's
You're not being combative about it.
no, it's just not. It's not
Like most of the
you know,
internet
it is an IP. I guess an IP. I'll view The Weeknd and his music as like intellectual.
It's an IP in the sense that Universal doesn't own the property.
Yeah,
doesn't
but
own, doesn't own the story.
It's not like an IP that I consume.
right.
So like I'm not.
but also,
I don't have a push or a love for it. I'm very intrigued to go through it, and like yes, it's exciting, but like it's not one that I'm like, I can't wait to get through this. but it could be just from the videos and like the music and stuff like that. It could be one of the best houses.
Yeah, I mean everything from that EW article, the way they described it to me, probably actually helped. In the sense that, like, again, I wasn't as excited when I first saw it, but that was only because I wasn't quite sure how they were going to make that work. But then the more I thought about it, and yes, just to answer questions, I do listen to his music. I actually like his music quite a bit. What I'm excited about is that the way they described it was, we're going to take you through the journey of basically being someone in, you know, like him living in LA, you know, obviously dealing with the fact that, you know, yes, he's famous, yes, he makes lots of money, yes, there's that aspect to it, but at the same time, the mindset that someone like him has to get into to develop a record, especially with the pressures of living in LA, the record company, all those other things that come down on somebody like that, and really kind of see through his eyes what it's like to do that. And they're going to obviously horrify it and make it all a I don't want to say Halloweeny, but they're gonna make it, you know, they're gonna make it, you know, spooky and scary.
It's gonna fit.
And what they're gonna do is they're gonna make it like a fever dream, and it's gonna be like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's gonna be very like trippy and out there.
Fucking wild.
It's not gonna be like you walking. I mean, obviously there'll be aspects of his music videos in it.
Yeah.
But it's not just gonna be you walking through his music video with his music playing. That's what I think a lot of people are worried about, is that it's gonna be just like, oh, it's just a music video. No, they're actually going to tell a unique story based on his music.
And it's going to be a cohesive one, too. It's not like what I took from it, it's not like a weird compilation-y mashup of, like, different stuff. Because, like, all the videos of all those songs are one cohesive story. It's not like six different things,
people,
really.
Obviously, they hear his music and they take it as face value. It's pop music. It's derivative. It doesn't
radio
really mean
pop.
anything. It's radio stuff. But in reality, if you actually listen to his music and listen to his lyrics, they're a lot darker. Even though some songs sound a little bit, you know, either happy or melancholy or, you know, love struck, but they're a lot darker than you realize. And a lot of his records have been. Like, obviously, this isn't my favorite record of his. I like the first one that he made. Not the first one he made, but the first one that made him commercially relevant. The one with the hills on it. Like, that record is super dark in a lot of ways. And I think that's what's important. That's what you should be considering, is that, like, he's working in conjunction with Universal. They're working together to come up with the story. It isn't like he told them a whole bunch of stuff and said, this is how it has to be done. It seems like he's a fan of the event already to begin with. So that helps. That's why I was excited for Billie Eilish, because the same idea. She was a fan of the event. So it's not like it's not like just they just went and bought a record or bought the rights to some record from some random artist and was like, oh, we're now going to make a house based on this record. Like, there's some real thought being put into this. So my point is do whatever you want. It's the internet. I don't really care. But I would suggest, if you don't listen to his music and you aren't already a fan of his, reserve judgment at least until you go through the house once. Yeah. And then maybe go through it again and see how you feel. But don't sit here and just be like, oh, it's just going to be trash, without, like, actually thinking about it. And before you say, well, what about Texas last year? You weren't happy with Texas. First of all, I said I'm not super excited about it. It is what it is. But for those that are excited, I'm happy for you. And I went through it, and guess what? It was my bottom house, because it wasn't that great. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. I don't hate the movie. It's just not my favorite, and the house wasn't my favorite. And it's okay. It's okay if you go through the house and go, oh,
you got 9 more houses.
I knew this was trash. Well, you know what? Fine. At least you experienced it. It's like when my kids don't want to eat food.
Yeah.
Like,
just eat the goddamn peas.
Actually, no. You've never eaten it before. Try it once, and then tell me you don't like it. So, whatever. I don't mean to get excited. I'm just ramped up. It's just it's a fun discussion.
Your excitement excites me.
Yeah, it's just it's
different.
It's different, and that's exactly it. Like I don't want...
You want different stuff at HHN. Right. Here you go.
Like, obviously, I'm new to the event compared to most people. So, like, the Halloween house, to me, is super exciting because I've never done it before. I've never done a Halloween house made by someone like Universal. I've been through cheaper ones that obviously are done by mom and pop down the road, but I've never been to one where you have the budget to make some really large-scale, cool aspects to a house. So... Obviously, I'm excited, but for a lot of people, they're probably like, "Oh, it's another Halloween house." So here's the thing: would you rather the 7th Texas Chainsaw House or something like the Weeknd, which it may actually surprise you with how good it ends up being?
I mean, the things that excite me about it is the potential of, like, I think this thing is going to be balls to the wall, like crazy lights, crazy sounds. You know,
Exactly.
what I did like with the music videos is like they throw the distorted song like over there, so it's
Yeah.
instead of like it's just his track, it'll go
Yeah, so it
or like that echoey effect. So
they're
I think that'll
definitely-
play.
They're definitely gonna do some like I got 5 on it type stuff, like it was with the Us House.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like it's the songs, but it's like they're
Not-
warped. They're not normal.
Yeah.
it's supposed to feel off. It's supposed to make you like have sensory overload. So my guess is that like if you really are that concerned that they're having a Weekend house, think of it this way: just pretend like you don't know what the name of the thing is.
Yeah.
just pretend like you don't know that it's
Call
the
her
Weeknd.
After Hours Nightmare, because if you don't know Weekend,
Right.
then you're not going to know that it's his album title.
Right. So just pretend like you don't know what it's about.
Call it an original and go
and try
in.
it that way, and you might find that you know what, hey, maybe I was wrong, and not that I think any of you that are complaining will admit that. Not to say that any of our listeners are those people.
But
I think
people
most
are.
of our listeners are probably cool with it.
Yeah, but there's a handful. There's a bad bunch.
There is an internet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the internet is. It's just a place for people to shit on
Talk shit
things.
and
it's-
be angry.
it's basically 4chan,
keyboard warriors.
4chan and news websites.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the internet.
So I will dive into the Entertainment Weekly
Sorry.
article a
I
little
went
bit.
on a rant.
No, but that's good because we got opinions out. We're gonna do the article, and then I got some more numbers. I got
Oh,
some
boy.
numbers.
More
I got
math.
numbers.
You and the
I was
math
just
tonight.
on a numbers spree. So the following is taken directly from that article. It does contain some spoilers. So if you don't really want to listen, you can just fast forward a little bit. But
Or don't just listen to it.
or just listen to it because you're not going to see it now anyways. You're going to just hear
You're
it.
gonna skip it.
Guests will travel into the mind of the Canadian singer-songwriter to visit the twisted fantasies that inspired his hit album. It's a quote from him saying, "I always wanted my own Halloween Horror Nights house. As Halloween has always been significant to my music, so this is a total dream come to life. I feel like my music videos have served as a launching pad for a collaboration like this, and I cannot wait for people to experience this madness." As Halloween Horror Nights executive producer John Murdy and Orlando senior show director Charles Gregg exclusively tell Entertainment Weekly, which must have been fucking wild for those guys, like
Right.
Entertainment Weekly,
Right.
like, and yeah,
They get to talk to like schmucks like us.
Yeah.
And, like one day I'm teaching to an actual journalist.
the single house experience at both parks expands upon the grim world that the Weekend built through After Hours visuals. Think bandaged maniacs, excessive plastic surgery, terror, and yes, red suits. They describe the journey as a fever dream hellscape about surviving LA and the horrors that come with it. Soundtracked by 6 of the Weekend songs, After Hours, In Your Eyes, Heartless, Blinding Lights, Save Your Tears, and Too Late, the house is broken into 3 sections preceded by an indoctrination into the performer's subconscious. The article does go on to state, like, I didn't want to spoil too much because the rest of the article does like
Kind of explain.
in depth explain the
Yeah.
rooms and what you're going to walk into. So I'll leave that part for that poison for yourself. If you want to go read it, you can. I did, but I don't want to make that decision for everybody else that's
Yeah.
listening. So
I
here's
don't think it
numbers.
gives away a lot, but
Yeah.
I mean it's enough that
It tells you the rooms, but
if
you
you want,
don't see it.
I mean, if
no.
you want to go into it hush, hush,
completely
without
blind.
without knowing anything, I wouldn't read the article.
So let's talk numbers.
More numbers.
Because these numbers are exactly why the Weekend is coming to Halloween Horror
Oh,
Nights.
100%.
So, just to put it into perspective a little bit, Twitter followers, Halloween Horror Nights official account has 138.7 thousand followers. Not
Think
bad.
about that. 138,000.
The Weekend, 16.4 million.
That's not surprising.
Not even close. That's why this guy is coming to the event.
Yeah.
You want some more numbers? That announcement tweet that HHN put out that is saying, enter the macabre, whatever. This is at the time of when I took these notes down. But that tweet got 3,327 likes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The Weekend put it out, and it got 171,000 likes.
Yeah.
Okay, so his tweet got liked more than the followers on the HHN official account.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct. But again, to keep in mind that the majority of people that come to the event probably do not follow either
The event.
account.
It's
Potentially.
I feel
Or
like
they follow the Weekend, but they don't follow HHN's
Yeah.
account because guess what? They don't. What's a Twitter? Like they
Yeah.
don't use Twitter. Like
I get
some
it,
people do.
but like the numbers are just
No. I agree
astounding.
with you. I agree with you. The problem is, don't take this as fuel to be like, well, see, they're just doing it so they can get numbers up. Like, no. First of all, yes,
Yes and no.
We will admit
it's a win-win.
We will admit that it definitely benefits their ticket sales. Like they're going to get people that don't typically come to the event.
We have people that probably don't even know what this event
Exactly.
is.
Or maybe they
Your mom is reading Entertainment Weekly.
Exactly.
And now she's asking you about what Horror Nights is.
Your mom.
Like, your parents are reading Entertainment. I don't fucking read that. But
Right, I don't either.
Parents do, I'm sure. Somebody's got to read
But
it.
I mean, again, but your
Someone has to read it because they have 6.4 million followers.
Right. Your point
numbers.
is correct that yes, the numbers don't lie. There is a reason why they want someone like him at the event.
Mm-hmm.
But again, to say that like, well, they're just doing it for that is silly too.
No, yeah.
Because he's if they were to bring someone in
It's
like
fitting.
Christina Aguilera, right? And they were like, hey, we're gonna do a record based on Genie in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Like obviously. Now, granted, there might be some weirdos out there.
So we're not getting Spice World, the house?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I know some of you want some Spice Girls going on in here, but
Tell me what you want, what you really want.
but to me, that would be more of a shameless grab at ticket sales than The Weeknd, and
It's
only
fitting.
because The Weeknd, again, not to reiterate the same rant, at least he's bringing something to the table.
Yeah. Some more quick little numbers, and then we're going to get into the whole shirt leak conspiracy thing. The announcement videos on YouTube. So the very first Universal Monsters one got 61,000 views, and that came out 2 months ago on May 17th. Halloween has 75,000 views. It came out 1 month ago on June
See where this
8th.
is going.
Blumhouse has 60,000 views 1 month ago, June 23rd. The Weeknd came out 2 days ago, 95,000 views.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all.
So, I mean, if you want to stand on and die on the hill of like he doesn't belong here, this doesn't whatever. I mean,
Well,
plenty of
unfortunately-
people are excited about it,
Yeah,
and there's
I
probably
mean-
way more than there are of them
correct.
than you.
I mean, again, so go on, be a hater. It is what it is. You know, it's fine. I mean, that's what you're allowed to hate and
You're
like
gonna be
things. It doesn't matter, and we don't care. Like we don't think you're less of a person because you aren't happy about this house. It's just, you know, again, I like I said, just take it with a grain of salt. Give it a shot. If you don't
See
like
what
it
happens.
after you did it, great.
Then
You
that's
didn't
fine.
like it.
Move on. You got 9 other houses.
Yeah, I mean,
5 scare zones, probably 2
granted,
shows.
You're gonna have one favorite house of the year, and there's 10 houses.
Yeah,
so-
there's only one favorite. So if it wasn't going to be that one anyways, it wasn't going to be that one. All right, so let's get into this little shirt leak gate. This seemed like it was posted by somebody who had just created a Facebook. I think the name was like Jack Smith, and the default picture was Jack the Clown. So somebody clearly like made a fake profile just to post this
I'm interested to see how you feel about
to
this.
continue their anonymity.
We'll get into that.
The back of the I mean, it looks like it's just a picture of the house.
It
shirt,
looks
the
too.
back of
It looks too good to not be.
It does. It looks like
True.
it would be hard to fake this. There are 8 houses on there. The houses are as follows: Halloween, Universal Monsters, Legends Collide. Those 2 logos match the logos that have been previously released. They have one that is called Witch's Brew, Spirits of the Coven, The Horrors of Blumhouse, Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake, Fiestade Chupacabras, Descendants of Destruction, and Bugs Eaten Alive. They got a very orangey, purpley kind of combo going. They have like jack-o'-lanterns, skulls. That looks like it's going to be the border of the shirt while all the houses are in the middle.
Yeah.
If this is real, man, somebody's going to...
I mean, well, the
You get
problem
whacked.
is someone probably won't get fired because they're not going to be able to figure out who did it.
Yeah. And it could have been a vendor. It could have been somebody not...
Yeah.
It could have been the person printing the shirts.
But I don't think that.
You know, like...
They I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that it would be that only because the person went out of their whoever got a hold of the picture. Let's put it this way: if you did this and you don't work for Universal or you don't work for the vendor, you're a piece of shit, and you should like feel like a piece of shit, even though you probably don't. But just know that Seamus at a Fear and Beer podcast thinks you're a piece of shit.
Like,
because that's stupid. Like that's fucking stupid. Like if your friend works for the vendor or works for fucking Universal and was like, "Hey man, look, this is sick." He or she did that because he had confidence someone like you
weren't gonna just pop it
weren't gonna
online.
pop it on fucking Facebook. And the thing is, you're not even man enough to do it on your own fucking account.
Yeah.
Like you have to create an account.
I'm Jack. I'm Jack.
I'm so clever. It's Jack the Clown. Get it? And then post the picture. Like that's fucked up. I again, I don't mean to rant tonight, but like this is two
Yeah.
things now that have come out in the last week that like
it's stupid.
it's
like speculating.
It's just dumb.
Speculating is one
thing.
thing. I'm sure. Let's
look at it this way. Both him and I know people that work for the company, work for Universal. We've heard things, but we haven't said anything.
We haven't heard much.
We haven't heard much, but I've heard probably more than you think I've heard. But I don't say anything because I don't want to get people in trouble. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So, like, we have a platform. We want to respect Universal's wishes and not release shit before they do. So we give you speculation.
Yep.
We give you things that like people are like speculating on. But we don't just drop information if we happen to hear anything.
Yeah,
Again, we don't know much, but we've heard some things here through the grapevine.
And being in Orlando, like working in service industry, like you're bound to like.
You're gonna hear.
I know a lot of people that work
Yeah.
in various degrees all throughout different things, and I don't even really pry. I don't ask because I know they can't say
But they know
anything.
we're-
But then there's
people
there's
know you're
been
fans.
there's been glances in certain conversations. There's been no outright saying. This is what's
Yeah.
happening. This is what's
Because
coming.
a lot of people that
but
work-
there's been I can read my friends, at certain times, and I don't.
A lot of I can't
That's
confirm,
it.
but I
That's what we
can't
say.
deny type thing.
Yeah, and it's not something that and they know that nothing would ever come out this way.
I don't know. And I think the problem is when this shit happens.
But if this is a true leak,
if it's real,
leak,
which, I mean, to be honest,
and honestly, it looks like it.
it looks
which
real.
sucks.
It looks really real.
Because speculating
considering the spec
again,
map,
like we said, is fun. It brings us through the season, but like downright leaks of
But
like an
ruining-
entire
but that's the
thing.
Like I feel like it cheapens the surprise.
It does. Oh, it's
and that's
you're-
the shitty part.
We're shaking. We're not only shaking our presents on Christmas Eve, but we're opening them.
right.
Like
Exactly.
it's tough. Like I don't like it, but we have to comment on it because it's out there.
happened. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. But I mean, I'm going to reiterate. I want you to know that if you happen to be listening to us and you're the one that dropped this, you're a piece of shit. Because again,
You ruined a lot of people's hard
the
work.
Surprise if a lot of this comes out to be true. If it doesn't, then great. You fooled everybody. Congratulations, you got one over on us. Oh
Yeah.
no, you win,
Yep.
Jack. But like.
You haven't seen the last
But if-
of Jack
But if it-
Smith.
Right, but if it turns out to be true and real, and unfortunately, like you said already, it looks
It looks what people.
it looks like what you'd expect
Yeah.
a Halloween Horror Nights shirt to look like. And plus, talking about the spec map like we're going to in a second, it's kind of convenient that it happens to line up pretty
It's-
much directly with the damn
It does. So yeah, that's I don't like the leak stuff. I like the speculating stuff. It's kind of harmless. If you get something right, you do, and it's fun. But when you just straight up like leak or steal or whatever, it's such a cheap way out.
It's gross. I don't like
so-
it. I don't like it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if y'all don't agree with me. Fine, tell me in the comments. But I don't like it.
Yeah. But I mean, if it is, that shirt logo looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
buy
it
that
looks
shirt.
cool. And there's a couple things we need to talk about anyways. One of them being that there's only 8 houses in the back of it.
Yeah, so I mean, the Weeknd
But
being
why
such a
not-
popular IP, that's like at 29, Ghostbusters wasn't on the
Yeah, well,
shirt. So
right, and my guess is that
Makes
and I was
sense.
going to say with the Weeknd specifically, I think it's because he's one of those things where it's like
he's gonna have his own.
he'll
merch.
agree.
He'll have
to,
his own line.
Right, exactly. He'll agree to it, but he needs his own merch. It's not like
Yeah.
you can't put my stuff on the merch with everything else.
No, it's just
And no, that's not him being better than everybody. It's just the way business works.
Yeah,
he wants
that's-
his merch to be his merch.
and it's something that was negotiated. Probably not even him. It was somebody on his behalf.
It was probably his
financial
team or
advisor
whatever.
or-
And let's be honest, most of the people that are going to want to buy his merch are want to buy his stuff. They don't care about everything else.
yeah.
I mean, obviously they might.
They
but
might
like,
grab a couple extra things.
They
but,
want like a
Weekend,
shirt.
yeah.
That's what they want. So
All right, so
makes a
let's
lot of sense.
dive into this speculation map. The last of the season. We are at the end
yeah, this
now
is-
of speculation
This is basically
season.
the final map.
We're at the end of speculation season. So this is the last map from Horror Night Nightmares. They have a couple names changed, but other than that,
But again,
we are
I
pretty
mean-
close to what we had last.
Yeah, outside of one of these, they line up exactly to that shirt. So
So I'm not going to go through the locations like we typically do.
no.
We're just going to go through the different houses now at this point and kind of talk because we've done 3 of these episodes already talking about the locations. And I don't think they really make a play into it hugely. So we have Spirits of the Coven with that shirt at the very top. If you look, like I said, Witch's Brew. So brew, spirits. I think this is going to be like a witchy house. I'm thinking liquor and stuff like. If they had like a witch's brew, like speakeasy style, like thing.
Yeah, I mean that would be kind of cool. If it
They
was
like to play. They like having
Yeah.
play on words with that
Well,
stuff.
when you say like, I could see them doing like a New Orleans. Like I would be kind of cool with like because it's called Spirits of the Coven, but they kind of steal a little bit from AHS Coven, where it was like witches versus voodoo. That's kind of cool. So make it kind of like New Orleans Mardi Gras style.
Yeah, I wish
kind of talk about something, do something along those
I'd
lines.
love to get another like voodoo house. Like I'm a sucker for those. I always enjoy them. I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with like, I think we previously talked, super old school Salem style. Like that would be like, if it was based off of Salem and like back home, that would be like my go-to like therapy house. Like it's just like it's like I'm visiting home. I'm taking a step back indoors. I'm going up east and just by walking into a house. So I would be excited if that was the case as well. So the one that has changed now, this has been the up and down rotated house.
This one's brand new.
This one is just called Prison. This is where Evil Dead was, which was supposedly supposed to happen. Supposedly supposed to be Evil Dead Rise, or Rise is the HBO movie we went into a little bit. But this thing has been flip-flopped a lot. And if this is accurate, then what has happened is what I was guessing or saying it would be just the easiest thing, rework it or just turn it into an original.
Just make it an original.
Get a house up. I'm sure there's thousands of ideas laying around. You have plenty of talented people. It's bad and good. So the fact that all these talented people that work tirelessly through this event have to all of a sudden change, rip, and start over and like add that extra stress and work, I hate that for them, and I'm sorry for them. But if it takes an IP that I'm not like in love with and turns it into an original, I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's a trade that I'm gonna make on their behalf. I'm sorry, guys. I love you for all the work you put into the event, and I know it was probably stressful as hell to do a little 180 on these houses that do flip flop. If that's what happened, but I would take an original house versus any of the Evil Deads.
Yeah, well, we all know my
personally.
Opinion. Like, I love original. I would take a 10 original house event any day of the week.
I mean, we're pretty fucking close to it at this one. This is about as close as we're gonna ever get.
This is probably the closest you'll ever have, obviously because of extenuating.
And we'll talk about that at the end, but it's pretty close. So Prison, who fucking knows?
It'll be about a prison.
Yeah, I would like to see it. What would be cool is if it kind of carries off from the Cary, Ohio house. Because there was like a Shady Brooks like penitentiary.
Oh yeah,
costume guy. So that'd be cool if they based like a prison thing in Cary. That would make a lot
of sense because that really didn't have a whole lot of backstory, right?
No, it was from a previous house, but it was like a backstory element of a previous house. They could just as easily make a prison house.
And a lot of people talk about that,
but they have that in their lore. So like, why not?
Well, a lot of people made the comment at the end of that house, the Cary house, and they were like, trying to figure out what exactly that was. Mm-hmm. So that wouldn't be a bad little tie-in to that. With like them reaching out to the audience, to their fans, and be like, "Hey, we hear you."
Yeah, imagine they threw us a Cary, Ohio house 2 years in a row. Yeah. Like that'd be cool. And like just calling it Prison. I mean, the title for this one is very much like a speculation map version 1 name. Yeah, because it's so broad that's not narrowed down yet, but it's so last minute. And this might be one of my more hyped houses just because I'm so curious about it because it is so blanketed.
See what they can pull off.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it's just a prison thing, but I would be inclined, not inclined to think it's going to be Cary, Ohio related, but I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful.
It would make more sense. Yeah. I mean, it's something they already have in their back pocket. They don't have to do a lot of work with it. They already got the
props everywhere. Written, location C is Halloween. We've talked plenty of times about that. It has been confirmed. It is is a redone version of the 1978 classic. It is different than the house at HHN 24. It is going to be in a soundstage. Lots of upgrades. It's going to be. I can't wait to get back into
Michael Myers.
Yeah, I can't wait back. Yeah. Can't wait to get back there. So D, this was the Chupacabra house. It now has a name, Fiesta de Chupacabras. Was that party of Chupacabra party?
That would be the Fiesta of Chupacabras, I guess, or a Chupacabra party.
Chupacabra party.
It depends. Again, I don't speak Spanish. I can read it a little bit, but that's about it. So
I don't know why it's a party.
I'm pretty sure it directly. Again, I'm probably wrong, but I think it directly translates the party of Chupacabras.
If I walk in and there's fucking little rat creature things with like hats on, like little birthday hats,
this could possibly be. I haven't really ordered them yet, but this might be. If this comes out, this is true. It might be. It might be my most hyped house.
That's cool, man.
Because to me, it seems like we've been saying this at the beginning. I think it's going to be kind of like a Yeti house.
Yep.
Give us that like mythological creature. Play on the senses a little bit with it.
I'd be sick if this turned into like almost like a Coco house, like where it's like the Day of the Dead style. Because like the party aspect of it brings me like, I initially think of like colors and stuff, and I'm thinking of the dead dog in Coco, where he's
you're
like
thinking Day of the Dead, more flashy.
Yeah, like
colors.
the skeleton bones colored.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it'll dip into that.
I think my opinion is that they'll be more. They're gonna do more of a traditional take on that story. That I'm sure that someone on the creative team is either, has grown up and has listened, has heard that story a million times from their grandfather or whatever.
Why is it a party? I just need to know what the
that's
party is.
Like that's the funny thing. It's Fiesta de Chupacabras. Maybe it's a kid's birthday party.
A celebration of the Chupacabra. Maybe that's like the holiday for it or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But I mean, you know what?
It's interesting. It's got me intrigued.
I'm interested. It might be my most hyped house. Not hyped, but like intriguing. House.
We'll get to our hype list at some point down the road. Dead Man's Wharf. This thing has fucking stood the test of time, man. This thing was Seaside Village, Dead Man's Wharf, Dead Man's Wharf, Dead Man's Wharf. I fucking... It's on the final speculation map, and I'm so happy. Like, this is just like... As soon as we saw Seaside Village, you go back like 4 months ago, back in February, we're like, man, this is either Dead Man's Wharf or Vikings Undead, because it has to be the two. And when they came out, and on these maps, obviously this is not definitive, but Dead Man's Wharf is like chef's kiss. That scare zone was like one of my first couple years at HHN. I think it was my second year, and from being from New England and from that area, like that, growing up in Maine, the whole coastal life aspect, I've always had an affinity for. So like, I'm excited for that. And again, back to the shirt leak. If that secondary tagline is there, that's like even better, because like that's gonna scream temperature control, like I've been preaching since day one.
Winter, snow. Yeah.
So I'm excited. I think that house is gonna play with the senses a lot. This is gonna be I think a very gritty, dark, stinky house.
It's gonna smell like the fucking ocean.
Well, like, I want ocean. I want fish. I want like like a bad fish.
I want to walk in and be like, ugh.
Yeah, like it's just gonna be gross.
This is stinky.
Yeah, I want it to be gross. Like it's gonna be misty. I want to get like sprayed with water. Like I want to just like come out hobbling. Like right. Like I can't
Scare
wait.
actors covered in seaweed and just nasty death.
It's gonna play. I think they're gonna have a lot of, if they bring back.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be cool because you're gonna get like that effect of walking on a pier and then walking potentially onto a boat.
A pier, like
a lot of,
having the seagulls go, like, you're going to have the waves crash and like the misters blast up. There's just so many options for this to play with the senses.
Your effect house.
Like, yes.
Where you're going to get hit with a ton of effects.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's just going to be amazing.
There's other houses like, Horrors or Blumhouse or like Halloween. Like, you're not going to play with effects really. There's no like, like water sequence in Halloween. He's not playing with the senses in that way, but you could do a lot with that house. Down to F, we're now looking at the Horrors of Blumhouse. We've talked about this house. It's been confirmed. It's going to duel out Freaky and The Black Phone. Both really good movies. If you haven't seen them, definitely add that to the list of things to do. I think The Black Phone is streaming now. You can probably purchase it. And I think Freaky is on HBO Max. So check it out. G, that is Bugs Eaten Alive. I still don't know what this house is about. I can only hope that my first instinct of like being a super campy, schlocky, sci-fi, like over the top, buggy house is gonna come to fruition. I don't think it will. But we'll see. Well, I just don't know what it's going to be. I can tell you
this much. This might be the first haunted house I've ever walked through and actually felt completely uneasy. Like, this will be the first house I will not lead the group. I'm going to bury my head in somebody's back. I don't know who. So whoever's with us that night.
I'm going to stick my head in the backpack.
And I just grab your shoulders. It's going to be me acting like a 12-year-old because I hate bugs. I've always hated bugs. I've always had an issue.
The creepy crawlies.
Bugs Eaten Alive only makes it worse because it's going to be like fucking like irradiated large-ass fucking nasty fucking bugs that like come out of nowhere, and I'm going to punch a fucking I'm gonna have to control myself because like I hate bugs.
They should hand fly swatters out
Bro,
with
I
everybody.
literally have like just that like
Whack, whack.
auto response
Yeah.
problem where it's like I see a bug and I want to like smash it and gross,
Yeah.
like kill it. Like I hate bugs, hate them. And yes, I know I live in Florida. Like, what are you doing with your life? But still, this one actually terrifies me.
I'm very
Not even
curious.
being in it.
I'm curious because this is. I'm curious if it's gonna be like
Ugh.
humanoid bugs, where it's like bugs infused into like
Well, if
humans,
they're
like bigger
smart,
thing, like.
If they're smart, they listen to Seamus and they go, "No, we're gonna make them like real live, like large ass fucking centipedes."
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have nightmares for the rest of the fucking years.
I'm excited.
Oh my god! I mean, I will admit it'll be cool. We'll get some of that underground type effect where like,
Yep.
it's like you're going under the ground, maybe you're going in a cave. It's just gonna be nasty and gross, and it's gonna make me feel like the Willies the whole time. And I may do it once, and that'd be it. That's maybe the house that I do one time and let you guys go in without me.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like I may just skip this house after doing it once.
So location
We'll see.
H. This thing has been on 4 maps and it has changed 4 times.
Yeah, this is new too, right? We've never seen this before.
I believe.
I mean, well, we've never seen this on the map.
Yeah. So first map, speculation map 1, I believe it was underground creatures. Speculation map 2, it went to Wicked Growth 2.
Yeah.
Speculation
like that.
map 3, it went to Seeds of Extinction 2.
Right.
Now it is just called Descendants of Destruction. I have no
Yeah.
clue.
I mean,
I don't know if, and it seems like maybe this was the same house the whole time, but they were hearing or seeing different snippets of it. Because Underground Creatures, Seeds of Extinction, and Descendants of Destruction all are in the same sort of realm, like world-wise. You know, I could see them seeing a couple aspects of all that and being, you know, you could reasonably decipher that it was either one of
So I
those
wonder,
things.
I mean-
It could still be up in the air.
yeah. I mean, could it potentially be a
Like
sequel house to something?
It could be a prequel house
we don't know about.
Yeah, it could be a sequel house to
Because
Seeds.
it says Descendants of Destruction, so it's almost
Yeah.
like you kind of have to know what are they descending from.
Yeah, this
What are
like
they descendants of?
this definitely falls like, obviously I talked about Dead Man's Wharf and how much I love it, but like Prison, Descendants of Destruction, and Fiesta de Chupacabras is like they're all are so intriguing because I have no my expectations they're not low. I just have no idea where to place them. You know, I have no idea what this thing is gonna be. You know, if we go back to our first speculation map talk when we talked about underground creatures and being a whole like a mining house, man, I would love if this was still a mining house. Like if we were, you know, descending down the mines and there's creatures, you know, even if it's something stupid like vampire creatures or something like that, like mole men. Like,
Yeah,
I would be in on that.
I'm just interested because Descendants of Destruction, which means my thought is when I hear that, I think of like world breaking, like large creatures, like a monster movie,
Like kaiju monsters, yeah.
like the type, like the house that Jimmy's been asking for
Godzilla.
for however long, I don't know, but like that Gaiju large scale
Yep.
monster destroying things. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we'll be the monsters. Maybe we'll be like walking around like a small city. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, it'd be weird, but I think that could be something they could pull off. But I don't know. I'm interested because I like when they have these weird, murky names that really don't mean much to us yet until we get there.
Even if you see the logo, like walking into the house and it just says Descendants of Destruction, I still am not going to really fully understand what we're asking,
Right.
what we're looking at. So moving along to I, that's the Weekend After Hours Nightmare House. So again, confirmed. We just talked about that at length, so we don't need to go into it. And then finally, the last house is Universal Monsters Legends Collide, which we have talked about
ad nauseum.
previously. So let's get into scare zones a little bit.
These
So,
changed
A little bit.
a lot. I think one of them changed.
Just
well,
just slightly.
two. The traditional Halloween is still there.
Yep. So traditional Halloween, up front, over by Jimmy Fallon, that New York-y area.
The big one.
Candy Mutants, which does have some tie-in. So right now, the Tribute Store has been leaving snippets about this stuff. So there's when you're leaving the Tribute Store, if you look straight ahead, there's a whole bunch of newspaper articles, and they've been like rotating them week after week after week, and they've slowly like been like telling a story.
Yeah.
Leading us up to Horror Nights. And I believe one of the last ones was something about like something along the lines of like a candy factory. So maybe it's a tie-in, maybe it's not, but it's a pretty cool way to like get some of your creative out there. It's interesting. So Candy Mutants, yeah, I mean, so again, so traditional Halloween up front. I mean, I'm expecting like trick-or-treaters. That's just kind of what I'm expecting. Candy Mutants, I mean, who knows? Hopefully they do like a whole big like factory explosion kind of thing. They have like these like workers that have mutated into these like different pieces of candy. The set designs gonna be pretty cool. The costume designs, I'm sure, are just people are having a ball with it. So I could see it very like, which I think was originally here or somewhere was Treeks and Foons.
Whatever that.
Treeks and Foons was somewhere, so I could see this kind of morphing into that style. Killer Clownsy, that goofy sci-fi.
Yeah, whatever they do here, it has to be good because it's the largest scare zone. That's the only
that
thing
has to
about
be
it
like
all.
the winner.
Has to be because you have a lot of space to fill, a lot of things to put in there.
Yeah,
it can't feel thin.
And I think people are a little bit let down from last year's scare zone.
Yeah.
So like I think this year, if they stay like this, could be a pretty redeeming factor. We're moving along to M, which is over in San Francisco, and that's Coven Witches. Just weird that they're gonna have like a Spirits of the Coven house up in the front of the park, and then Coven Witches again over in M. But again, we're going very Halloween on this event, which
again
seems,
I think makes kind of
which I love
somewhat
it's
sense
great.
because we said before it's
I'm
the
in.
31st episode. It's the 31st. It's Halloween Horror Nights 31. Obviously, that's a big number. It's a specific number. So I think they're gonna kind of stay with that theme. And this may not be exactly true either. And again, it's speculation. So they might have a house and a scare zone at the same time. It's similar. I mean,
maybe
did it
they
with
tie
Rob
in. That'd be
Zombie.
cool.
Rob Zombie had a house and a scare zone. So who knows?
Going all the way over to location N, where we got Scarecrow. That's kind of been on there. That was the first one that popped on there. I think it popped up on Speculation Map 2, and a lot of people didn't notice it because all the scare zones were labeled as unknown, except that one is Scarecrow. So it'd be cool to see that if that's truly a rendition of the house. So that'd be cool. And then Deadly Unrest, which right now has the most props out in the streets. It looks very cemetery-y. It was previously vampires. Deadly Unrest could still be vampires, kind of like daywalkers, stuff like that. They're deadly, but they're not rest. I don't know. It's either that or zombies. And I'm gonna hope for vampires because I think I'd prefer that. And then in the shows we have Marathon of Mayhem and Nightmare Fuel coming back to us, which nothing's leaked out from there. They've stayed the same. A couple of the performers from last year's Nightmare Fuel have been posting pictures of last year's event saying like, are you ready? Can we feel blah blah? So I think it's a good inclination that they are coming back, which would be awesome. I can't wait.
It was popular. People liked it.
Oh, I loved it.
Obviously, you liked it. I liked it. So I think that it makes sense to bring it back. And it'd be one of those things where like last year I wasn't super high on doing the shows, but after seeing it,
it's like
now I might do it a lot.
Yeah, I'll definitely. Once a week. That's like my go-to. Like if I'm doing an entire night there, I go in early. I hit the houses for a while, and then as soon as it gets to that breaking point, that 8 o'clock point, I'm going to hit some shows, I'm going to hit the scare zones, I'm going to have some beer, and I'm going to have some food. Then when stuff starts to die back down around 10:30, 11, I'm going to start doing houses again. There's that middle gap of like the just madness where like I could wait an hour for a house and, and bide my time and kind of get my way done, or I could catch a show, hit 5 scare zones, grab 3 or 4 beers, grab some fat people food and shove it in my face, and then before you know it, I'm back waiting in line at 10 or 10:30, and I can crank out 4 or 5 houses in the next 2 hours. But yeah, man, that was a lot to unload. That was a big episode.
It was a big week. We said it before. We said it last week.
It's gonna come hot and heavy.
It's gonna come. We're gonna get a bunch of stuff in one week. Obviously, some of it isn't official, and you shouldn't take anything that's unofficial as official until it's been officially announced, even if it looked real. But getting the Weeknd announcement didn't surprise any of us. I don't think. I think most of us saw it coming. We knew it was coming. We were just waiting till when it was confirmed. And I think just to wrap that up, I think you and I are kind of on the same boat. We're both interested in it. I'm more excited about it than you are.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think
It's fun to see something different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
No,
glad.
that's
I'm
fine.
glad we're getting something different. If we have to get a musical artist, at least make it interesting. And before you all say, "Well, why can't they do like Einstein Kills?" Because all of their music is based on actual Halloween
Movies.
properties, not based on anything original.
So you can't go to them for their
So you
IP
really
rights.
can't go to them for their IP stuff. So don't get me wrong, I like their music, but I mean, people like that. Again, I don't want to get into this rant. I'm not going to get into a rant.
We're almost done. We can't rant now. Damn it.
I don't want to rant. I don't want to rant. I'm just excited. Let's go. Come on, September 2nd.
I
so we
mean,
can get this over with.
yeah, we're getting in there.
I just
We're
wanna get in there and
we're not
do it.
doing another episode until August, so we're 1 month away.
We are literally a month from the kickoff.
We are. We're getting close. I don't think we'll get an announcement next week.
No.
I think the second week of August, that 9th.
We've had 4 houses announced.
I think they're going to
have
do
a
what they
month
did
left.
last year, where they're going to drop everything at once.
Probably. I mean, considering that they've dropped all 4 of their IPs so far.
Yeah.
I mean,
They don't have anything else to.
They haven't announced really any originals yet.
I don't think dropping an original like a solo would like.
I think the only one that would be worth a drop would be Dead Man.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the one that kind of like is going to
Everything else is new.
Yeah, everything else would potentially be new.
Yeah. So I don't see anything until at least the second week of August, maybe the third week of August. So it's like a week before the event.
Yeah.
And I think they'll do what they did last year. They're going to do like a mega drop where they drop all the remaining houses, all the scare
All the
zones,
merch,
and the shows.
everything, yep.
So they'll dump everything out. And then we'll have our final say. So we will be back next week. Again, we're not planning on any announcements, but
we
we
could do
did
a killer
kind of plan.
review.
And we haven't done a killer review in a while, so we haven't decided yet on a movie. We have a couple lined up, for potential watches, but we'll figure that out during the week. We'll let y'all know. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll see what Kevin's doing. See if we can drag him on for killer reviews. It's been a while.
I'm sure he'd be down.
We can talk some HHN with him because we talked him into getting an actual
So,
pass this year.
Yeah, he's got the same pass as us.
Yep. So
he's gonna have to use it.
He'll be there a lot. He'll be there with us a lot. So that was a lot of info,
That's
but
a lot of stuff.
a lot of HHN stuff. Very exciting stuff.
Super excited.
I can't wait. We're
Can't wait.
getting close.
And if you're listening 365 Duff, we need to go through the house together. So don't think you're getting out of going into weekend with us. So just so you know, we're just as pumped as you are.
I know they have Express, so we're gonna make you wait in the line, but I'll buy your beers while we wait.
No, I know you got you're this express guy. You're waiting in line with us. We're gonna drink a beer. We're gonna enjoy it. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Oh my god, can it be September 2nd?
Well, until next time, this is Nick.
And this is Seamus.
Happy haunts.
It's cursed. It's got a death curse.
It's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
And again, I would just like to thank Vampire Stepdad for letting us use his music for our intro and outro music. So if you would, just go check him out. Spotify, Facebook. Again, that is Vampire Stepdad.